Welcome to our 13th class. Our topic will be the supreme energy and the fundamentals of nature. Supreme energy or supreme consciousness is the greatest of the mysteries we might try to unravel. We can, however, say that in addition to being responsible for the creation of the whole, it is also present in every particle that permeates the whole, in a physical and extra-physical form. So because we always have two polarities on all elements of the nature, we can also represent that consciousness or energy by two polarities, and by the fusion of their union, that is, the fusion from what we can call God and Goddess. We have strong indications that this consciousness also has been personified in some moments of history, and that would depend on the mental and vibrational pattern that could or can be achieved by a group of people in synchronized resonance to the biomagnetic field of the Earth, called the Schumann resonance, so in synchronicity with our world and the universe that surrounds us. That means that this supreme consciousness could and can personify itself and appear physically to some people in a masculine and feminine form. Most of the technologies we create are connected with the standards presented by nature and the animals, because it is through examples of the constitution of those organisms that we can understand the functioning of the behavior of physical and chemical elements and how the universe works, how things are naturally designed, and how they can adapt to the reality that they are inserted in. Therefore, we could also say that the comprehension of our life and evolutionary process is connected to the understanding of the Supreme. Many ancient and current philosophies have developed methods for understanding this energy by means of self-reflection and self-realization, which made us access the perception of our life as part of different projections of the same energy, such as the chakras and of our aura, which flow energy to our glands and to the entire system of our organism, including our nervous system, our lungs, heart, and brain. This energy also provides, in a way, the functioning of celestial bodies with their respective points of concentration of energy projected on Earth according to their different cyclical movements, including our Sun, the Moon, and the central sun of the galaxy. However, we can observe its presence not only in the microcosmos forms, but in the microcosmos as well, and they have great similarities of forms and movements. Recent research of the principles of matter, called the cosmic background radiation or the theory of the quartz, indicated the presence of waves that are even smaller than the atomic particles, vibrating in a suspended spiral form with differentiated movements, frequencies, and bonds according to the elements of the periodic table and their molecules. Other research by some physicists also indicated the presence of an extra-physical particle called tachyon, and according to the Lilario science, the tachyon energy would be the sum of all cosmic energies. This energy can be captured and concentrated through some stepped monuments in a pyramidal shape that can amplify it by using the scalar energy so that it can be distributed to the entire world through other monuments previously built that could be reactivated, and also through some replicas of the monument that will be placed where there is most of the concentration of that energy in the world in a certain cycle, and they can be built at specific points of the magnetic grid called nerve points where the energy flow of those points meet. So there is a natural way of distribution of the electromagnetism that can be used to install those other replicas. The measurements of those monuments are based on the universal mathematics, where the sum of the numbers of its parts results in the number 9, which is the number that has a frequency that symbolizes the abundance. The central point of the position of the monument that will serve as the main generator is directly related to the movement of the Sun in relation to the Earth, and that can be analyzed through the phenomenon called analemma. The crossing of the lines of the shape generated from the analysis of this phenomenon indicates the orientation of the precise place of reception of that energy coming from our Sun, that is a substation of the central sun of the galaxy. and that emits its frequency of light also through Alcyone, the sun of Andromeda, before those frequencies of photonic energy arrive here. Those studies will be revealed in more detail in the near future. However, the current science is already presenting a part of it, demonstrated in the research called the South Atlantic Anomaly, that can be researched very easily. And there is a project to build a monument that exists for more than 20 years, so about 15 years before the mainstream researchers have presented that concept. This monument is already being built, and some of its energy can already be felt in a city that is also under construction called Ziggurats. The result of capturing this energy through those monuments when they become properly active will be the synchronicity of our brain waves with the frequency of the Schumann resonance when it reaches the stable level of 3 Hz. There are strong indications that this frequency is present in the energy of our thoughts and in all natural elements, that is, in all forms of nature, and so this will allow us to have a much better synchronicity from our mind with everything that permeates the universe. So now let's look at the 7 fundamentals of nature according to the Eulerian science. There are 7 elements. The first one is the magnetism, the second, the density, the third, the pressure, the fourth, the light, the fifth, the positive modulating wave, the sixth, the negative modulating wave, and the seventh, the neutral modulating wave. The first 4 ones form what we can call the MDPL, magnetism, density, pressure, and light, which is a conjunction of forces that form what we are used to call gravity. We already have devices that measure all the frequencies of the magnetism, of the density, and of the pressure, but we still don't have a proper device to measure and comprehend all the frequencies of the light. So science is working on that, and many scientists say that technology, and especially medicine, will have a great advance, and that we will perceive now the light and the sound and work with it in a much better way. Some may also say that we are now entering the era of light and sound. We already have some experiments where we can have the MDPL altered in some specific points on the Earth, where we can practice physical exercises and even train not only our body to receive a great charge of photonic particles to increase its functioning, but also our mind. So, if in the fundamentals of nature the MDPL is what we can call gravity, what would then be the modulating waves? They would be the energy that has a positive, a negative, and a neutral form, and that permeates and also creates everything. So the fusion of those forces is what creates everything and basically also conceptualizes everything. That is, it gives meaning to everything. And so, if we know that by quantum physics and by the universal laws from Hermes that nothing is still and thus everything is always vibrating, always in movement, so we can synthesize that the supreme consciousness can also be defined as movement too. And I think that leads us to a great reflection. Now let's go to our exercise. Let's learn how to use our mental technology for many purposes and also for healing. Mental technology is what we can name as the capability that we have to use our mind to transform the reality in many ways. In the book called Kybalion that describes the 7 principles of the universe through the vision of Hermes, it is said that the universe is mental. Thus, everything can be conceived and created through a great mind or the mind of the Supreme. Therefore, in a sense, when we get into synchronicity with that energy that we all come from and understand about the universal laws, we can also create the reality according to what we think and feel. In that way, our imagination can be considered as a very important tool for that, and whatever we think or have the vision of something that we want to become real, and we indeed feel the possibility of that becoming real, even if we are not conscious of that, we are actually programming that reality. So if we become aware of that process, we can use our mind as a technology to conceive, attract, and make it possible for anything to happen or change from a negative situation to a positive one. We can use the process of erasing or reprogramming our mind, get rid of things from the past, like discarding the things that have maybe caused us some trauma by feeling disconnected to it. We can even do an exercise of writing down on a paper everything from our past that we wish it never happened, and then cross out those words or even burn the paper. And we can write what has brought us good memories and be grateful about them. We can also remember the things that we are grateful for in the present moment to symbolize them with a good intention and vibration. And we can think about the things that we want to happen in the near or distant future and think about them or write them down, and also be grateful about the real possibility for them to happen, so for us to be really able to make all of that happen. So this is one of the usages of our mental technology, and it usually works in a fine way because our mind, together with our brain, the creative energy that we can bring from our basic or root chakra to our frontal one, third eye, and also through our pineal gland, all of those elements together can work as an antenna, so we can tune in whatever we vibrate as a reality and attract that into our lives and become whatever we want to become. So, for a healing exercise, we can also use this technology to make a mentalization of the challenge that we or someone is having mentally, emotionally, or physically, and mentalize a green light, healing that part, and then the person or us already feeling better and recovered from that situation and feel the emotion of that outcome. It would be good that for a healing of other person, we do this exercise for only 3 seconds, because that's the time that our mind cannot interfere in a negative way with the energy of other people. And any type of healing procedure through a mentalization process will always work better if the person really wants to heal, because we can only be a tool for the people to heal themselves. So we can potentiate the healing, but they are the ones that will heal themselves. That means if they are really aware that they need healing, that they have a problem, or if they aren't aware, that will make the whole difference. That's it for now, and I see you on our next class.